people don't know a lot of the background from a young man staying overnight when there's, less than 30 days of funding left. And, you had just flown down there, 5 people get laid off when you're in a conference room.
Does Boogie know this story?
No, he does not. He does not. No.
Okay. I'm not looking for smoke, but maybe give Boogie the details so he understands the context of the guy he's talking to a little bit. It might help.
Okay.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Mil-Sim tax shooter and history-based gaming channel. Most of you are probably already familiar with the OG MMOFPS World War II Online, with its massive 2-to-1 scale map of Western Europe and months-long persistent wars, is well on its way to converting to the Unreal Engine 5, bringing with it its awesome proprietary server structure, allowing for thousands of concurrent players, a true MMO. World War II Online garners one of the most passionate communities in all of gaming, and is surely one of the biggest reasons the game has survived for 23 years now, and there really is no other game quite like it. You've heard me say it before, but when World War II Online gets its new snazzy paint job, it will shock the gaming world, just like it did when it was first released back in 2001. The game has an unwavering cult following that will surely see this Unreal Engine conversion all the way through to the end. However, further support from Mil-Sim gamers like you and I could certainly speed up the process. Believe it or not, but back around 2010, the game or company that owned it nearly ceased to exist. And that's when a regular gamer, just like you and I, decided he would go to great lengths to preserve the game he loved most. What do you do when the suit and tie money guys behind your favorite game decide to just walk away? Well, you acquire the rights. Duh.
Zoom was the community. Was an unpaid volunteer and had moved into, I think, some marketing. I may have the roles reversed here, but then had moved into community management. And I don't know if they invited you to come down or whatever. And so
they told me don't come down.
Don't come down. So then
I was assistant community manager. Sorry, just fill in the blanks.
That's fine.
I started off as a volunteer. I was a recruitment officer. I actually made up the role and I sent it in to the community manager, which is Motormouth at the time. This was 2010, and she said, I like what you're doing. I'm going to bring you on board. 2010, I joined. 2011, she leaves. I take over as community manager. Actually, that was late 2011, early 2012. In 2012, I was talking about coming down there. She left, and then Al, which is Rafter, he was the executive producer at that time. We had an interview just like this, because I've always been in Portland, Oregon, so I was always remote. And he said, hey, we'd like you to take over as community manager. You good with that? I was like, wow, absolutely. And so I started to receive a very small stipend at that time. And I talked about wanting to fly down there and meet these guys because, again, I mentioned earlier, they were my heroes. They were people that I looked up to. And, I used to walk around, my family, we used to own a restaurant, and I used to from my apartments, which is where I lived at the time, to that restaurant, I would be humming the World War II Online song, wondering maybe one day I'll be a general in game or something. So this is deeply rooted in me, this game. I don't know, maybe that's weird. Anyway, so they were like, no, you shouldn't come down, you shouldn't fly down. This is a really bad time for our company. I have a bad time taking no for an answer at times. So I flew down anyways. On my dime. I didn't ask them for anything. I just wanted to shake their hands and say thanks and talk to them because I really, really cared about what was going on. All right, Tex, go ahead and take it from there, I think.
Yeah, and then they, at a conference, say, hey, we're having a team meeting here, a departmental meeting. And they go into, and this is a place that I drove by for many, many years. I mean, I used to eat all the time across the street at the Mexican food restaurant, and they're in this Wells Fargo on the 7th floor, whatever.
And 400, Suite 400.
Yeah. And so they come in there and they're like, we're done. And you're out of a job. You're out of the job. You're out of the job. And here is, a young man who just flew down here to, like you said, shake hands. Like, what's happening?
Yeah.
And the work day was over, people, it's not a good time. It's not a good day. And Zoom asked, hey, can I spend the night in the office space? Because I think this is it. He believes that. And everybody leaves. He's staying there, in office furniture, the whole 9 yards. And if I can share this, because you've shared this with me, and if it needs to be edited out, so be it. This was very distressing for you. And you were praying to the Lord saying, how what can I do? Please help, and
something along the lines of use me as your instrument to try and save this place. Because the restaurant businesses I was talking about earlier, my family owned 3 of them for 20 years. And in 2008, we sold out of them. And so I really understood at that time the magnitude of that loss. And I didn't want to have to repeat it again. Anyway.
No, I mean, it just is like, and so just in working through that, and then just, I can tell you personally, he's a young man with a young family at that time, or maybe even right before your son was born. But he was married, or he was in a very committed relationship. I mean, I can't imagine even now as an older person turning to my wife and say, "Hey, look, this is what I'm really passionate about." She go, "Okay, that's fine. By the way, I want to write this check. I want to assume this new responsibility." And she's going to say, "Hold it." How much money are we talking? And is there a job with money coming back this way? And the answer would have been no. No. Lights out. Boop,
Yeah.
So I mean, that's and look, and Zoom is very transparent in terms of like he's done some great things. He's done some things that I wish we could have done that differently. We don't have the rewind button. Okay, and that's with any business. But the thing that for me is that his willingness to risk, and then the willingness to listen to others and to say, "Hey, I could have done that better," or whatever. But there's a sincerity about him, and we've had some tough conversations, he and I. I mean, he'll tell you we have, not fun times, but we're good friends, respectfully, because we can say these things to one another. That to me is just a sincerity of effort that we cannot lose, even if the worst case scenario happens and we don't get to the promised land. Okay, but what my point is, it is the journey worth taking.
Grenade out.
World War II Online has been around for 23 years, and like I said before, that is mostly due to its, albeit small, but passionate and devout community. In tandem to developing Choke Point, which you see now, Cornered Rat Software will achieve the move to Unreal Engine. With that said, the more the merrier. If you have the means and wish to support the project, that's awesome, and for the entire Mil-Sim community. If not, just playing the game and bringing friends along will only speed up the process of converting to Unreal. You'll be hard-pressed to find a more tight-knit community than World War II Online's. And after chatting with the team for some time, it became apparent that there was maybe even a bigger force than its awesome player base at play here.
They're flanking on the right. Damn it. Sorry, dude.
We have faced a great number of challenges historically, many times. We face some today, but each time that we come together and we have a no-quit attitude and a belief that we can do this, it might take us longer than we expect or that some community members expect, these particular challenges. But we have surpassed every single impossible roadblock that has come upon us. So, and then of course, lastly is the divine, intervention of things that I believe has truly influenced not only me, but the organization, the connection of certain events that are unexplainable and the people that have come together. These things are not a mistake. And I'm not saying necessarily that some worldly things haven't happened to occur, obviously, but I believe that we have a faith-driven organization as well that has helped influence. And I think, however weird this might sound, I think God is on our side. Honestly, I choose to believe that because he's pulled us out of a lot of scary fires.
That's awesome.
I don't know how popular that's going to be, Tex, but I believe it.
Yeah, man. The journey worth taking. For all of you that have said you'd love to see a game like Foxhole, but in FPS, Well, here you go. But at a much, much larger scale, really. You can play the game for free on Steam, but to get the most out of it, you should definitely check out at least a few tutorials. And one big thing, if you do decide to support the project, do so through their launcher and website. That way Steam doesn't take their huge cut. We need all the funds and support getting directly to them. And lastly, all those that subscribe with the supporter edition, which I think is $15, you will be granted access to Choke Point's closed playtests.
Shot you in the head. And it went bing!
And their newest version running on the Unreal Engine 5 should be just around the corner. Alright boys, I want to thank each of you for watching. As always, a special shout out to the Mil-Simp minions, my channel members, my inspiration. I will see you boys in the next one. Y'all be good to each other.